Welcome to Skills USA News. I'm Weston Davis.
And I'm Megan Taraban. Thank you for joining us.
Leading the news tonight, more bodies have been found aboard the Costa Concordia, bringing the total death toll to 15. Franco Gabrielli, the official in charge of operations, said that 2 women were found outside of the ship's internet cafe. 17 of the original 4,200 people on board are still reported missing. Gabrielli also stated that they have begun efforts to pump fuel out of the ship's tank.
The state of Texas has been historically dry over the past several months. While this record-breaking dry spell was not broken in Lubbock, strong winds and heavy rain caused damage elsewhere in the state. On your screen is some of the damage done in Dallas. According to the National Weather Service, a new record for rainfall in a 24-hour period was set in Dallas.
On Tuesday, January 24th, nearly 40 South Plains homeowners filed lawsuits against plumbing company IPEX. IPEX has been charged with manufacturing Kitec plumbing, which was recalled in 2005. The company has already faced and lost lawsuits costing about $90 million. IPEX representatives were in Lubbock yesterday, visiting homeowners and trying to resolve the problem. However, no resolutions have been made. Lubbock suppliers say they will no longer be selling the Kitec brand.
It has been a devastating week for the friends and family of the late Joe Paterno. Students and admirers faced cold temperatures to pay respect to the Penn State coach of 61 years at a candlelight vigil. The statue of Paterno on the university's campus has become a makeshift memorial honoring a football great.
Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords officially resigned earlier this week. Giffords met with some of her constituents who were at her Congress on Your Corner event last January. She wanted to finish the event that was tragically interrupted. As you will recall, at this event last year, 6 people died and Giffords was shot in the head. She has resigned to focus on her recovery.
Well, that's very good that she's going to focus on her recovery and hopefully get better soon.
Yes, it really seems like this story has made a complete turnaround in 180 since last year.
It definitely has, and I think it's very uplifting.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a wonderful evening.
With 17 people still missing, salvage workers have begun pumping fuel out of the cruise ship that sank earlier this month.
Hello and welcome to Skills USA News. The state-run Lubbock facility is making aggressive efforts to make many improvements after they have been looked at for an agreement made in 2009. A report by the Texas Department of Aging and Disability indicates that the clients living in the Lubbock facility remain at high risk for abuse and neglect due to non-compliance on basic health and safety provisions. Also, plaintiffs are waiting for a decision after suing IPEX Manufacturing of Kitec Plumbing. This is not IPEX's first time to be sued, however, including a class action suit in Nevada where the company had to pay homeowners $90 million. The plaintiff's attorney says that he hopes to be able to resolve the issue quickly.
Texas Tech and Mike Leach are still in disagreement over what is owed to the former football coach. Texas Tech stated that Leach violated his contract continually by abusing a student athlete who was diagnosed with a concussion. No agreements have yet been reached.
In state news, the manhunt for 2 gunmen is in progress. 2 robbers held up an armored car parked on the side of a check cashing business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The robbers escaped in another vehicle that police later found abandoned. The 2 suspects are still at large.
Texas is getting hit harder by Mother Nature, in more ways than one. Strong winds have caused many problems throughout the state. While the National Weather Service reported that Dallas set a new record for rainfall in a 24-hour period, the roads are still flooded because of the rain. Those trying to fly have been delayed due to the weather. Even with the record rainfall, it still isn't enough to end the Texas drought.
A Texas woman is happy to be alive after being on board the cruise ship that sunk off the coast of Italy. She says hours after her and her friends aboarded the ship, she felt something but was told there was nothing to worry about, only to find out later that things weren't what they seemed. While the ship was sinking, she says that her and her friends thought about jumping into the ocean since a lot of the lifeboats had sunk with the ship.
Finishing her congressional duties, Gabrielle Giffords has resigned from Congress. Giffords will conclude her Congress on Your Corner event that was interrupted by a shooting rampage, leaving 6 dead and Giffords in the hospital.
Also in national news, police now need warrants to install GPS trackers on suspects' cars. The U.S. Supreme Court made a unanimous decision that using tracking devices to watch suspects violates the Fourth Amendment, protection against unreasonable search and seizure. This was all brought about because of an alleged drug boss.
With 17 people still missing, the salvage workers have been pumping fuel out of the cruise ship that sank earlier this month. Only kitchen and engine fuel have leaked from the ship. The official in charge of the operation says he did not see the immediate risk of almost 2,500 tons of oil on board escaping, but they are taking precautions just in case.
Penn State students are mourning the loss of former coach Joe Paterno. Paterno passed away at age 85. He had been suffering from a broken pelvis and lung cancer. Holding a vigil, students held candles and locked arms, singing the alma mater as they said their goodbyes. Now, Casey, it's truly sad to see a coach die, but we'll see how Penn State does next year.
I agree, but that is all we have for today in Skills USA News.
Have a great day.
Hello and welcome to Skills USA News. Do your loved ones live in the state-supported living center? They may not be getting the care that they deserve. According to Disability Rights in Texas, clients living in the state-supported living center remain at high risk for abuse and neglect due to the facility's continued non-compliance on basic health and safety precautions. All 13 centers in Texas are being evaluated as a requirement state lawmakers made with the Justice Department in 2009.
Former head coach Mike Leach sent a proposal for his lawsuit against the Texas Tech and claims he didn't receive his incentive and bonuses and all he was entitled to. But the Texas Tech attorney rejected his proposal because he repeatedly abused the player and was given all he was entitled to.
A lawsuit has been filed against IPEX by 40 area homeowners seeking compensation for damages incurred by having to replace their plumbing system and other expenditures. IPEX, who manufactures Kitex Plumbing, is hopeful to resolve the matter within a few months. Attorneys for IPEX would not comment on the lawsuit.
LCU's Executive Vice President Brian Starr is running to become the president at LCU. His position at LCU gives him the advantage of being familiar with the campus and students.
On to state news. 2 suspects are still at large today after holding up an armored car in Dallas. The Dunbar armored car was parked outside of a check cashing business when the robbers repeatedly held up the car and escaped in another vehicle. Police later found the car abandoned nearby. The suspects still remain at large.
Residents in Dallas are recovering from several inches of rain that flooded the streets, causing several wrecks and many flights to be delayed. This is a new record for Dallas, but it didn't break the drought.
On to national news. Flowers and candles surround the statue of Joe Paterno at Penn State University this morning as his passing on Sunday when he lost his fight with lung cancer. Penn State students and alumni held a candlelight vigil Sunday night to remember this great coach. Later, they walked to a statue of Paterno outside Beaver Stadium, which has become sort of a makeshift memorial. The family thanks all for the prayers and support.
Former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords has resigned from Congress after being shot in the head. She will continue Congress on Your Corner that was interrupted by a shooting rampage last January.
The search continues for the bodies of the passengers in the cruise ship that sank just off the coast of Italy. Approximately 17 people remain missing because 2 people were recovered for this weekend. Officials say that they do not know how long it will take to clear the wreckage, but search continues for the remaining 17 passengers.
43-year-old actor Tracy Morgan is recovering after he was rushed to the hospital for collapsing and falling unconscious at the Sundance Film Festival this past Sunday. Morgan's representative says that he was treated for a combination of exhaustion and altitude.
That's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us on Skills USA News.
15 are confirmed dead and 17 are missing off the coast of Italy. Hello and welcome to Skills USA News.
Leading the news today, rescue workers are still looking for people on the cruise ship Costa Concordia after it hit a rock and tipped over on its side last week. Today, workers are trying to get 2,400 gallons of fuel out before it leaks into the ocean. While trying to find the 17 people that are still missing, the total confirmed death toll stands at 15.
On to national news. Gabrielle Gifford is no longer one of Arizona's senators anymore. As of Wednesday, Giffords officially resigned from her congressional duties. She met with some of her fellow victims and some of the citizens that aided her from the shooting last January, at the Senators Congress on Your Corner event last year. She was shot in the head and 6 others were killed. Gifford finished up the event this year before her resignation.
Police nationwide have a new protocol to follow due to a recent Supreme Court ruling that changed the vehicle GPS laws. The courts found that placing a GPS without a warrant was a violation of the Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches. This case was due to the capture and conviction of a drug kingpin who was tracked by the FBI with an expired warrant.
In state news, many problems have been brought to Dallas with the weather. Flooding, wrecks, and flight delays are the result of excessive rainfall. Dallas set the new national record for rainfall in a 24-hour period. Although there was a lot of rain, it still has not ended the worst drought that Texas has ever seen.
2 suspects are still at large in the Dallas area after their getaway earlier this week. The suspects had been holding up a Dunbar armored car outside a check cashing business. The 2 got away in another vehicle, which was found a little ways away by local police.
In local news, Mike Leach is trying to settle his lawsuit with Texas Tech University. Texas Tech attorney Dickie Grigg replied by rejecting Leach's proposal of getting his 2009 salary by stating that Leach received all he was entitled to. Grigg stated, "Mr. Leach is engaged in a public campaign to grossly misstated the reasons for his termination."
IPEX can expect a hole in their pockets. The company is facing over 40 South Plains homemaker lawsuits for distributing bad plumbing supplies which were recalled in 2005. The homeowners are seeking compensation for damages acquired by the plumbing. IPEX attorneys denied comment on the suit.
An outpouring of grief at Penn State because of the death of legendary coach Joe Paterno. Penn State students and alumni held a candlelight service last Sunday night to honor and remember the Ionic former football coach who died at age 85 this past Sunday. Paterno had suffering from lung cancer and recently broken his pelvis. The statue of Paterno outside Beaver Stadium has become a sort of makeshift memorial. On the back of it, it has a quote from the legendary coach. They asked me what I'd like to be written about me when I'm gone. I hope they write that I made Penn State a better place, not just because I was a great football coach. Man, it is really sad that Coach Paterno died.
Oh, it really is. He's definitely going to be going down as a legend in football history.
He made college football what it is today. It is fantastic.
I know, for Penn State, who is an amazing coach for them.
Okay, well, that's all we have for Skills USA News. Have a great day.
Welcome to Skills USA. I'm Vashti Garcia.
And I'm Connor Wheeler. Thank you for joining us. Leading the news, 2 more bodies have been recovered from the run-aground Italian cruise ship, the Costa Concordia. According to Italian officials, the official death toll from the accident has reached up to 15 people. As divers continue to look for the remaining 17 missing passengers, salvage crews have begun removing fuel from the crippled ship. According to the operations official head, Franco Gabrielli, none of the ship's 2,400 tons of fuel are in danger of leaking into the ocean at this time. The Italian consumer group, Codicons, have begun to file a class action lawsuit against Costa and its parent company, Carnival Corporations.
Police in Dallas, Texas are on the hunt for 2 masked gunmen that held up an armored car. The Dunbar armored car was parked on the side of a check cashing business when the suspects reportedly held up the vehicle. The 2 suspects escaped and are still at large in the Dallas Metroplex area.
The state of Pennsylvania and the college football world awoke Sunday morning to the devastating news. Longtime head coach at Penn State, Joe Paterno, had passed away. Paterno had been battling lung cancer and a fractured hip at the time of his death. Students and alumni came together late Sunday night for a candlelight vigil in honor of the coach who walked the campus of Penn State for 61 years. Paterno once said that he hopes he's remembered at Penn State for making it a better place.
Arizona Congressman Gabrielle Giffords will be officially ending her duties at the House of Representatives Representatives in Washington, D.C. this week. Giffords was critically injured after she was shot in the head last January during a shooting rampage that resulted in the deaths of 6 people. Giffords attended a private gathering on Monday to meet some of the people that were on there that day. Among citizens who helped the injured after the shooting was over, however, Giffords still has more to do in Congress before she leaves. She plans to finish her Congress in the corner event. Giffords was honored at the State of the Union address on Tuesday in Washington.
Citizens from around the South Plains joined Vista Bank for the celebration of its 100th year birthday. Mayor Tom Martin also made an appearance at the event. The bank was first established in Rawls in 1912 and has been in business ever since. Congratulations to this locally owned business.
Do you have a bank at Vista Bank?
I actually do. I mean, they're really good. I mean, they do whatever you want. I've gone in there. They're very friendly. They help you out. I'm actually really impressed with them.
Really? I know it's been 100 years.
100? I mean, they really know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, well.
I'm impressed.
That's all the time we have for today at Skills USA.
Thank you for joining us.